Okay, welcome back everyone. It is 8/31 of 2015. We're going to continue with Thomas Aquinas and the Doctrine of the Soul. We're going to pick up the next 10 pages. And as I said before, he packs in a lot of content in just 10 pages, but we're going to take a look at this next section. He adds a little bit more information to our previous chart because he wants to bring in the sentient soul and the three layers of the soul in this section here. So we're not dealing simply with intellect, we're dealing with the three layers. And if we take a look at the chart, we see that the sentient soul receives the sensations. They're received in this area of the soul and converted to the psychical phantasms. And these phantasms exist here as the potentially understood, that which can be understood, but they exist as potential opportunities for understanding. And a phantasm is a sensate species, therefore there ends up being a collective of sensate species phantasms collectively gathered in the sentient soul, kind of held in kind of a mechanical memory in the sentient soul. The sentient soul feeds the possible intellect part of the soul. In this region of the soul, there exists the potential for the intelligibles. It's here where we ascertain through understanding the intelligibles. This region is the essence of the soul. The intellect is considered the supreme of the soul. The self will acquire the intelligible forms from the psychical phantasms, and it will first do this by converting the phantasm to an abstracted immaterial generalization. So the first moment in the intellect is to convert the phantasm to an abstract generalization. And then the intellect must seek to acquire the universal separate substance that's contained in each one of those abstract generalizations. They're going to be acquired as intelligible and as individuated things, and each intelligible thing will contain its mark of universality within its corresponding generalization, which needs to be extracted out. So each one of the generalized phantasms, each one of those generalizations that are formed from the phantasm are going to contain a relevant mark of universality that will help us in acquiring the universal separate substance that the generalization contains. And it's acquired through reflexive knowing, or reflective knowing to know oneself. That's the literal way that Aquinas put it, reflective knowing to know oneself, or simply reflexive knowing. The possible intellect is the power of the soul, and it transcends body. The intellect equals what is acquired through understanding. The methodology for acquiring the true, the sign form of universality, is derived from a comparison of the many individuated general things that are. You have a group of generalizations. By comparing those generalizations, we can abstract out the sign of universality. So that's we use that method of comparison to ascertain the one out of the many and identify that mark of universality. Then we move on to the soul proper. The soul is geometric. It contains three layers: the nutritive desire, the sentient feeling, and the intellective thinking that performs the act of understanding. We've already discussed that the sentient feeling that receives sensations and then passes those on to the intellective thinking. From here we'll go to the fourth block, body. The flesh of the body desires because the nutritive desire of soul directs it that way. So the soul is related to the body in a three-layered positing as well. You've got positing in the area of desire, positing in the area of thinking that we already discussed in the previous lecture. If we look, and we've already talked about that realm of positing, so we're not going to look at it again, but that's where we posit that ideal is in the genus of body. The realm of positing is the genus of body. And then under active existence, this time we learn that truth is the perfection of the intellect. It's acquired through understanding and act. Understanding and act will move soul toward perfection and perfection is acquiring the perfect acquisition of truth. So it's a great little lesson. It's additional information because now, and from here on out, we're going to have Aquinas talking about a three-layered soul, and technically we've got a three-layered realm of positing, because remember the soul and the body cannot be the soul cannot be contaminated by body, so there is an intermediary boundary line, and that's the realm of positing. And we already discussed the ideal positing of the notion of the true for the intellect, but now we discover this time that the sentient soul does posit the desires of the body. So even desire is an extension of soul that's posited in the realm of positing for body to enact. Even at the sentient layer and the nutritive layer, these baser aspects take place, but the highest level, the essence of soul, is the possible intellect, and that positing takes place in the realm of positing as genus of body. In the realm of genus of body, the possible intellect posits the ideality of the true. So that's the core essence of soul. We don't want to forget that. He's letting us know that there are other layers of the soul, and the sentient layer does receive sensory impressions, the sensate impressions, but we don't want to forget that with Aquinas, we're talking about the intellect. The intellect is the eternal. The intellect is the immortal. The intellect is the non-contaminated. The intellect is the essence of soul, and it informs the genus of body as the realm of positing, and thereby enacts the act of existence in acquiring the true. But it did give us a little bit of additional information. We got a chance to take a look at the three layers of nutritive, sentient, and intellective. And we will probably use this same chart the next time, but we'll have the additional 35 to 45 pages to add additional information to this portion so far. And that'll wrap up part 3 of the Doctrine of the Soul.